Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to a new cycle on global television coming to you live from Nigeria's capital Abuja. I am Uyi Agmofwebe, reminding all our viewers that global television is on DSTV channel 365 and on Star Times channel 276. President Bola Tinubu says Nigeria's difficult period of economic reforms is over. He said the sacrifices of citizens of the past 3 years have yielded a more stable economy and the country is now positioned as a preferred investment destination. In his Eid al-Kabir message to Muslim faithful in Nigeria and across the world, Tinubu linked the sacrifice which is at the heart of Salah and economic hardships Nigerians have suffered under his administration's reform program. The federal government has directed the immediate reopening of completed sections of the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano highway to ease travel during the Eid al-Kabir celebration. Minister of Works David Umahi gave the directive to the contractor handling the project, Infield Quest Nigeria Limited, to facilitate smoother movement for people traveling for Salah. A statement issued in Abuja by the minister's media aide, Francis Owanze, stated that the decision was aimed at improving safety and reducing traffic challenges along the busy routes during the festive period. The day of Arafah, observed on the 9th day of Dhul Hijjah, is one of the most sacred and spiritually significant moments in Islam. For millions of pilgrims gathered at Mount Arafat and Muslims across the world, it is a day of worship, reflection, repentance, and hope for divine mercy. Kabir Hassan now reports.
Mount Arafat in Saudi Arabia becomes the focal point of Muslims' world on the day of Arafat, as pilgrims gathered in worship at the site where Prophet Muhammad delivered his historic farewell sermon. The day is regarded as the climax of Hajj, with pilgrims spending hours in supplication, reflection, and total submission to Allah. Beyond the pilgrimage, Arafat carries profound spiritual significance for Muslims everywhere, serving as a reminder of faith, humility, and accountability before God. According to Imam Muhammad Kabir, the day of Arafat is one of the Islam's greatest opportunity for seeking forgiveness, offering heartfelt prayers, and drawing closer to Allah. He noted that Muslims believe prayers offered on this day are among the most accepted and rewarded.
Arafat Day is a day in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala earmarks for the fulfillment of Hajj rite. This is for those who are there in Saudi Arabia to perform pilgrimage. While for those who are here, meaning those who are not opportune to go for Hajj this year, they will also be part of Arafat through many things.
Imam Muhammad Kabir explained that fasting on the day of Arafat is highly recommended for those not performing Hajj, with immense spiritual reward attached to the act. He further urged pilgrims and other faithful to maximize the significance of the day through sincere devotion, repentance, and adherence. Muslims continue to seek Allah's mercy and forgiveness, embracing what is widely regarded as a sacred opportunity for spiritual renewal and divine growth.
Well, thank you so very much, Kabir. The Army War College Nigeria has reaffirmed its resolve to raise a new generation of highly skilled, strategic, and combat-ready military leaders capable of confronting Nigeria's evolving security threats. Commandant of the college, Umar Mohammed Al-Khali, stated this at the opening of the 7th Annual Symposium on the Nigerian Civil War held at the Tukuro Yusuf Ratay Auditorium in Abuja. Our defense correspondent, Kikalomo Okere, has details.
The Nigerian Army War College says continuous study of Nigerian civil war remains critical to strengthening national unity, deepening military professionalism, and preventing the mistakes of the past from resurfacing. Commandant of the college, Major General Umar Mohammed Al-Khali, says building intellectual capacity, strategic thinking, and historical awareness among senior military officers is essential to enhancing Nigerian security architecture and improving operational readiness. According to him, Understanding past conflict, equip military leaders with the foresight and tactical knowledge required to confront modern security threats, including terrorism, insurgency, banditry, and other asymmetric warfare challenges facing the nation.
The Nigerian Civil War remains one of the most defining events in our nation's history till date. As much as it represents a period of pain in our nation, it also presents opportunities for lessons in national unity, leadership, and post-conflict reconciliation.
The commandant also noted that this year's symposium, which focuses on indigenous technological innovations during the Nigerian War, reflects the Nigerian Army's growing emphasis on self-reliance, innovation, and adaptability in modern warfare. He explained that the initiatives align with the command philosophy of the Chief of the Army Staff, aimed at transforming the Nigerian Army into a more professional, resilient, and mission-oriented force capable of operating effectively within joint and multi-agent security environments.
It also enables us to critically assess how historical experiences can inform the contemporary security challenges bedeviling our great nation, Nigeria, and the wider African continent.
The symposium attracted military officers, academics, security experts, and researchers from across the country to examine lessons from the Civil War and their reliance to contemporary national security operations. Kike Lomo Okere, Global TV News.
The Nigerian Navy has stepped up efforts to improve personnel welfare and healthcare services with the delivery of major accommodation and infrastructure projects, alongside the groundbreaking of a 200-bed reference hospital in Abuja. The projects, unveiled by Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Idi Abbas, are part of activities commemorating the Nigerian Navy's 70th anniversary. Setia Yakubu reports.
As part of its commitment to enhancing the welfare of personnel, the Nigerian Navy has completed and delivered critical housing and infrastructure projects across its formations in the Federal Capital Territory. The projects include 128 units of two-bedroom flats for junior officers in Galadimawa, 48 units of one-bedroom accommodation for junior rating in Asokoro, as well as improvements in water supply, electricity and road networks aimed at creating a more conducive living and working environment for officers and ratings. Commissioning the project, the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Idi Abbas, described them as a strategic investment designed to boost morale, improve operational effectiveness, and strengthen the welfare architecture of the service. He noted that some of the projects had been abandoned for years before their completion, describing their delivery as a testament to the Navy's resolve to revive stalled infrastructure for the benefit of personnel.
Because it represents one of the first major infrastructure projects being initiated under my leadership as the Chief of the Naval Staff, and it's a project that is very dear to my heart. This is because the welfare of our personnel extends beyond accommodation and working conditions to the quality of healthcare available to them and their families.
Vice Admiral Abbas also urged beneficiaries to take ownership of the facilities by ensuring proper maintenance, while commending the federal government, contractors, and the project teams whose support contributed to the successful execution of the project.
Consequently, personnel can expect the commissioning of many more previously abandoned projects in the near future as we sustain this drive. Other projects that we will be commissioning within Navy Town Asokoro include the electrification of 10 accommodation blocks, the new road network, and water reticulation project. Collectively, these projects demonstrate our commitment to ensuring that the benefits of development are felt directly by the personnel whose sacrifices sustain.
Project officer who disclosed that the hospital, which will occupy about 2.79 hectares of land, will feature state-of-the-art, including imaging centers, accident and emergency units, intensive care wards, operating theaters, laboratories, pediatric and psychiatric units, as well as research and consultant centers. The facility is expected to significantly expand healthcare capacity for naval personnel, their families, and members of the public. Sadia Yakubu, Global TV News.
Many thanks, Sadia. Still talking military matters, the Chief of Defense Staff, CDS, General Olufemi Oluyede, has ordered the deployment of special forces and aerial surveillance assets to Oyo State, following a series of recent kidnapping incidents across the state. He assured residents that the military would sustain aggressive operations until those responsible are apprehended and security is fully restored in the affected areas. Speaking with journalists today during a briefing on the Armed Forces operational activities for May, the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, says the military recognizes the growing security concerns in Oyo State and sympathizes with affected families, the state government, and residents. The Theater Command of Operation Hadinke has warned of possible attacks by Boko Haram and its splinter faction, the Islamic State West Africa Province, ISWAP, during the Eid al-Kabir celebrations in Nigeria's northeast. The military says intelligence reports indicate that remnants of the terrorist groups could attempt to target civilians through seaside bombings and improvised explosive devices, particularly in crowded public places during the festive period. The Media Information Officer of Operation Hadinke, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba, disclosed this in a statement. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has taken an early lead in the presidential primaries of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, securing victories in 5 states as delegates across the country vote to determine the party's flag bearer for the 2027 presidential election. The contest, which has attracted national attention ahead of the next electoral cycle, is being contested by Atiku, former Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi, and economist Mohammed Ayatideen. Although the party's national leadership is yet to formally announce the final collated results from the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, figures obtained across some states showed Atiku maintaining a commanding lead in the early rounds of counting. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has expressed satisfaction with the pace and quality of ongoing infrastructure projects across Abuja, declaring that several of the projects are now ready for inauguration. The minister made the remarks during an inspection tour of key projects in the nation's capital. The inspection covered major roads and urban renewal projects, including the renewed Hope City Road in Kasana, the Old Kefi Road, Deide Road, Airport Road to Kuje Road, the Kuje Gwagwalada Road, and the Abuja City Gate project. Wike commended contractors handling the projects for maintaining quality delivery and keeping to agreed timelines, describing the level of work across the sites as impressive. At the renewed Hope City project in Kasana, the minister disclosed that construction had reached about 98% completion. He also confirmed that asphalt work on the Old Kefi and Deide Road projects had largely been completed, with installation of streetlights currently ongoing.
The projects we inspected, obviously, they are ready for inauguration. We went to the renewed Hope City and the Kasana. Just consider that almost 98% have been done. Very good job by Lubrix. And then we move to Old Kefi Road, which they are almost completing the asphalt, and then continue to do with the street lights. That is also ready for commission.
Inspecting the Airport Road to Kuje Road project, Wike said the road would significantly improve connectivity and stimulate economic activities within the area. The minister noted that ongoing infrastructure development was rapidly transforming communities across the Federal Capital Territory, particularly Kuje and surrounding districts. At the Abuja City Gate project being handled by Julius Berger, Wike described the ongoing transformation as a major facelift for the nation's capital.
You can see how infrastructure has changed the entire landscape of the Kuje area. Then we're here, which is the City Gate, which is the kind of Julius Berger, one of the giant construction firms. You will attest to the fact that it has given a new look.
The FCT minister also weighed in on political developments in Rivers State, backing the emergence of Kingsley Chinda as governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress. Wike described Chinda as experienced, politically grounded, and well-positioned. Let's turn to other stories for you. The federal government has declared Wednesday, May 27 and Thursday, May 28, 2026 as public holidays to mark the Eid al-Kabir celebration across the country. Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo announced the declaration in a statement issued by the ministry's permanent secretary Magdalene Ajani, describing the Eid al-Adha as a festival rooted in sacrifice, obedience to God, and compassion for humanity. The government urged Nigerians to use the holiday period for prayers, reflection, and national unity, while wishing Muslims in Nigeria and across the diaspora a peaceful and joyous celebration. Ahead of the Salah celebration scheduled for Wednesday, the Borno State government has announced a temporary restriction on vehicular and human movement across the state to ensure the peaceful conduct of Eid prayers. The restriction, approved by Governor Babagana Umar Zulum, will take effect from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Wednesday and will apply to all vehicles, tricycles, and motorcycles. The measure comes days after the Nigerian military issued an advisory warning of possible terrorist attacks in crowded locations across the state. Let's turn to Rivers State now, where the governor, Siminalayi Fubara, has declared that the state secretariat complex, which is undergoing massive reconstruction, will be ready for use by the first quarter of 2027. The governor stated this after the tour of the multiple and expansive high-rise buildings located in the old GRA axis of Port Harcourt City. This was contained in a statement issued by the Chief Press Secretary to the governor, Onwuka Nzeshi, and sent to journalists. Imo State Police Command says it has intensified its fight against crime with the training of over 300 officers in forensic and fraud investigations. In addition, it has paraded 179 suspects arrested for serious criminal offenses across the state. Our correspondent, Samarachi Ibe, reports that the command says the twin strategy of capacity building and intelligence-led operations is yielding significant results in the battle against insecurity.
In a move aimed at strengthening modern policing and enhancing crime detection, the Imo State Police Command assembled officers drawn from divisions, formations, and tactical units for a specialized training on forensic and fraud investigations in Owerri. Representing the Commissioner of Police, Imo State Command, CP Audu Garba Bose, the Deputy Commissioner of Police, DCP Hama Joda Baraka, said the training comes at critical time when criminals are deploying sophisticated and technology-driven methods to evade arrest. He noted that equipping officers with advanced forensic and investigative skills will improve professionalism, strengthen evidence-based investigations, and boost public confidence in policing.
The knowledge gained here should reflect in improved investigative standards, ethical conduct, and enhanced service delivery across the command.
Leading the team from Force Headquarters, Dr. Pearl Chidinma Obulu charged participants to translate the knowledge gained into actionable results that will strengthen investigations and accelerate delivery of justice.
This knowledge gained here today will not only enhance your investigative skills, but contribute immensely to justice delivery, crime prevention, and public trust in the Nigerian police force.
Meanwhile, in a major breakthrough against criminality, the Commissioner of Police, CP Audu Garba Bose, paraded 179 suspects arrested during coordinated operations carried out across the state within the last 2 months. The Commissioner of Police Imo State revealed that the suspects are linked to offenses including kidnapping, armed robbery, rape, cultism, cybercrime, unlawful possession of firearms, amongst others. He further disclosed that security operatives recover a crèche of weapons and other incriminating exhibits.
In the course of investigating the aforementioned suspects, a large number of exhibits were recovered, including 2 general-purpose gun machine, GPMG, 6 AK-47 rifles, 10 pump-action guns, 4 locally fabricated single-barrel guns, 1 pistol, 1 long gun, 2 magazines, a large cache of assorted live ammunition, fabricated firearms, criminal charms, 7 suspected stolen vehicles, a human skull, stolen motorcycles, and other incriminating items.
The Imo State Police Command has expressed its determination to sustain intelligence-driven operations, strategic training, and aggressive crime-fighting measures to ensure the safety of lives and properties across the state. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, Global TV News.
Well, thank you so very much. You're watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. The rest of the news continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign and sports stories on the other side for you. Do stay with us.
Hello and thank you for joining us. The rains are gradually becoming more organized across the country, and many areas have recorded a decent amount of rainfall over the past few days. So if you've been enjoying the cooler temperatures lately, well, there's more on the way. So now let's talk about what to expect heading into Tuesday. An overnight weather system is expected to trigger more thunderstorms across parts of Taraba, Adamawa, the Federal Capital Territory, Kaduna, parts of Nasarawa, Niger, and Kogi State. So if you live in any of this area, you may want to keep that umbrella nearby before heading out in the morning. And for those of you along the coastal and the southeastern region, including Lagos, parts of Oyo and Ogun State, expect a wet start of the day with widespread morning rains likely during the early hours. Don't be surprised if the skies stay cloudy for most of the morning. But that's not all. By late afternoon, another round of rainfall and thunderstorms are expected to redevelop, affecting parts of the northwest, including Gombe, Bauchi, parts of Adamawa, Taraba, much of the north central region, and several cities across the southern half of the country. So for what we're seeing, the atmosphere is becoming increasingly active and more wet weather is expected to continue over the next couple of days. Stay weather aware, and I'll see you again. Thank you for watching.
Well, thank you so very much for staying with us. The second part of this news broadcast now returns with business, where the African Development Bank Group and OCP Group have signed an agreement for a partial credit guarantee amounting to 450 million euros, about 615 billion naira, aimed at supporting the investment program of the world leader in plant nutrition solutions and phosphate-based fertilizers. The operation is designed to facilitate the mobilization of a 530 million euro green financing facility by Societe Generale and BNP Paribas. The signing of this agreement marks a key milestone in implementing OCP Group's 2023 to 2030 investment program. It will help secure long-term financial resources from international financial institutions, paving the way for the effective deployment of planned investments. The operational ramp-up of the 650,000 barrel per day Dangote Petroleum Refinery and petrochemicals is fundamentally reshaping Nigeria's downstream oil sector, significantly reducing the country's dependence on imported refined petroleum products and strengthening its external position, as according to the Economist Intelligence Unit, EIU. In its latest assessment on the country's fuel markets and regulatory environment, the report said the refinery has already transformed the sector that was previously characterized by heavy reliance on imported fuel, despite being Africa's largest crude oil producer. The report noted that the refinery met nearly 80% of domestic petrol demand in April, producing enough volumes to satisfy local consumption requirements as operations approached full capacity. The government of Nigeria and the Republic of Turkey have signed a memorandum of understanding to strengthen bilateral cooperation in the solid mineral sector in a move aimed at deepening economic collaboration between both countries. The agreement was signed on the sidelines of the Istanbul Natural Resources Summit in Istanbul, Turkey, according to a statement from the federal government. Let's take you to the foreign scene now, where Senegal's National Assembly has elected ousted Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko as its speaker after he was reinstated to parliament during a session boycotted by opposition lawmakers. Sonko, the sole candidate for the opposition, received 132 votes, with no member voting against him and one abstaining, according to the session's presiding member, Ismail Diallo. There are 165 seats in parliament. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps says it has downed a U.S. Reaper drone that entered its airspace as tensions continue to rise during peace negotiations. United States forces attacked missile launch sites and mine-laying vessels in southern Iran in what a U.S. military spokesman described as self-defense strikes. Top negotiators from Tehran have traveled to Qatar to discuss points of contention in a potential deal to end the U.S.-Israel war on Iran. Let's take you to sports now. The federal government, through the National Sports Commission, has approved a series of landmark sports infrastructure projects and developmental initiatives aimed at repositioning Nigerian sports and restoring the nation's sporting facilities to world-class standards. The approvals were part of resolutions reached at the National Sports Commission's Tenders Board meeting, where key projects and contracts were ratified to rejuvenate critical sports infrastructure across the country. Top on the list is the complete revamp and redevelopment of the pitch at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja, whose poor condition has limited its usage by Nigeria's national teams in recent years. Former Southampton and Royal Antwerp forward Victor Udo has died at the age of 21 in Nigeria, with reports describing the death as, quote, under suspicious circumstances, unquote. According to the Mirror UK, Udo was found dead in Abuja, although the exact cause of death had not been confirmed at the time of this report. Quite a sad story there, but that's a full cycle on the news here. Thank you for watching. As always, we'd like to remind you that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 as well as on Star Times channel 276. Remember to engage, interact, and subscribe across all of our social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG as well as other handles now showing on your screen. I am Uyi Agumofwegbe, and I will see you on News Prime.